Welcome to the on wax.
The 1% Club.
Is this it? We're here. Rainbows on wax.
We did this.
21?
21, bro.
21. What's that Cranberry song?
Yeah. Oh, maybe that should be the intro track.
Probably not allowed. It'll get flagged.
I was meaning to ask, where did you see the stat 1% Club?
Playing again. I don't know. I could be, we need a producer that can bring us up.
We need a guy that runs the internet over there,
How many podcasts until you reach the top 1% of podcasting? Yeah, so it was, I reckon it was Reddit.
Reddit stat from maybe August.
Yeah, this is just bringing up kind of actual people downloading and listening to it. But it's probably a Reddit thread.
Yeah.
I would imagine. That's where I get most of my information from.
Yep.
And normally it's pretty scrutinized Reddit. If you're repeating stuff that you've read on there, it's there's someone who's going to scrutinize that.
Yeah.
That data.
Yeah.
That data.
Well, I'll take it. We
believe it now.
It
might have changed.
We're in the 1% Club.
Since we started podcasting, maybe it's changed. It's actually 42 now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here. 21 here. Live on Instagram as well.
Live on Insta. This will be our last of 2024.
Yep. Yep.
So we're going to talk about maybe what we want to talk about next year.
Yeah.
A bit of future seeking.
Future vibes.
Yeah. What's happened between now and the last episode?
Yep.
Because there was 2 months of nothing from us. Apologies for that, but we've been busy.
We worked on an album together.
We did.
Which was really nice.
Let's start there. Let's start with Bud Rokeski.
So, the first album you and I have been a part of making together.
Yeah.
Which is super lovely.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't even meant to be an album. I mean, it was. It was always going to be an album, but, we booked, a week at Yamanui.
Yep.
Craig Ross, another long-term sort of contributor to the Bud Rokeski project.
Amazing.
Yeah, just all-rounder.
Oh, he's legend. So good. Yeah.
So we were like, let's get myself, Steve, Bud, real name Alex, Craig in a room.
Yeah.
A bunch of songs, to work on, to think about. Bud's always got a huge catalogue of stuff, which is really cool.
Amazing songwriter, man. Wow.
Crazy good.
And just the vocal presentation too, really knows how to use what he has,
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, he knows who he is, I think. I mean, he wouldn't admit that.
Yeah.
But, I feel like either he's getting there or he knows it. And we actually kind of went in with he does this cover of Joy Division.
Love Will Tear Us Apart.
Love Will Tear Us Apart. And that was actually sort of a bit of an ethos brought from the wonderful Todd Wagstaff. It was kind of we love this song. Maybe you should go and do that one first and sort of see how that song pans out. And kind of take that as an ethos into the rest of the songs, which in a way happened. I know now kind of reflecting back, we definitely didn't just be hey, this is how this song sounds like, let's make every single song sound like that. But yeah, basically, and I'd listen to some Rick Rubin stuff as well. It was just play what you like,
Yeah.
Just record what you like. So simple.
Follow instinct.
Yeah. We can pull this apart in so many different ways, but I just felt that was such a great way to enter in.
Because it was a bit of a different process that I'm kind of used to. Most of the time the artists will have songs kind of deeply figured out, but there was still a lot of songwriting happening in those moments, and whether it was lyrics or musicality or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it
Well,
was
Bud's been on a journey as well. Like,
yeah,
we kind of started that way. Like, the way this album was made, we did sort of start that way, and then kind of went down this other journey of like trying to play to an audience. And, you know, it wasn't working or feeling good. So we kind of came all the way back around to just like, let's just play to our friends again. Even still, it was like, initially I was like, oh, like Craig will come and engineer. You know, I'll do some producing, you'll do some producing, you'll do some playing. It didn't work that way.
No,
You
everyone
ended up engineering.
yeah, kind
Which
of.
is cool. And like driving, I guess, is like a term, like someone who drives the computer.
Yeah,
I think it's always easier just to have one person
yeah,
doing that, because if you have multiple, everyone has a slightly different way of doing things. And so that just worked out better. Obviously, you know the studio inside out. But it allowed Craig to be a player, which was super nice. Like, he's such a good player.
yeah,
And that hasn't happened before, like in other sessions that we've done.
yeah.
Like, he's so good at bass, guitar, piano.
Yeah.
Like, he just knows his shit. And
Voicing's like just crazy. You know?
yeah. So there was sort of a couple of zones. There was like his guitar and vocal zone,
yeah,
little drum zone,
yeah.
kind of like an electric zone, which was like in and out of the main.
We ended
area.
up killing that vibe. We just went direct after.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
So that ended up being back in the main room, and then piano zone.
yeah,
So yeah, we started with Love Will Tear Us Apart, and I think our intention was kind of like 4 or 5 songs. Like, we had 5 days, so we're like, oh,
song a day.
maybe 4 or 5 songs. 10 songs.
Yeah,
Was the end result.
went in flow, man.
Yeah.
It was, and like the beautiful thing was, it was the same vocal tone the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
and like this blend of like vintage country blues to like this modern.
Yeah.
You call it the ASMR vocal.
Yeah.
But like that real hi-fi, like
Yeah.
wispy kind of, you know,
Clarity, the
crispness. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a beautiful blend of sounds, man, and
Yeah.
all led by like this cheap nylon acoustic. And
Which was like I think it wasn't like a request of Bud's, but I knew that he wanted one, and it totally, like, I just slipped my mind. Like, not that I own one anyway, but
yeah,
I didn't organize one. And it's funny, at Yamanui, there's like no steel string guitars
there's no acoustics
except for that one.
except for that one.
Yeah. And
Which
that
is like
ended up being-
$100 nylon string.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's like the hero of the record.
yeah,
I think it's on 9 songs.
yeah,
Steel string on 1 song, right? From memory, it's
Yeah.
like 1 track
Yeah.
has steel string.
and electric actually.
Well, yeah, there's electrics and stuff, but like
Yeah,
that nylon was just the absolute hero
yeah,
of the whole record. Craig brought in some of his nice acoustics, which was nice. Yeah, it didn't really get picked up or used. And pretty much every day it was kind of like, what are we feeling today? You know, it was just like, what are you feeling, bud? Like, what do you want to work on? There was some that were in a list already, so they were kind of easier to draw from, and like just some that we knew that were going to be like, yeah, like these will be on the record. And then there was like some I was pulling out that are like 10 years old, like Brother. I was like, man, this is such a beautiful song. It's so...
Some of those shorter ones too, like full moments.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I had like a conversation with Todd, you know, who works at the label, a really great A&R person in our country. And he's like, oh, that song Hanging in the Air. Like, it's so good. It's just like, it needs to be longer. And I was kind of like, well,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's just like, go and listen to it again.
yeah.
And, you know, he wants more out of it. And
Well, that was the conversation in the end. It was like, this is going to leave people wanting more.
Yeah.
So go back and play it again.
yeah. And I do wonder if it's like, if that'll happen, if that'll play
Yeah.
out, you know, like
Yeah.
people will just go and listen to it again, or
Yeah.
it'll just have its little 1 minute moment. But yeah, basically like, you know, 5 days, 10 songs. The other contributors would be Isaac, McGovern, Conomos, Mao, M-O-U. Just epic electric guitar, harmonies, like always good flavors with that sort of stuff. That was all though. You played drums on a bunch of tracks. That was really...
Craig was really driving all the harmony stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also Bud's playing was just phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. But
full conviction, like,
yeah.
you know.
It's just crazy. Yeah. It feels like a record. We played it to, you know, Paul from Warner.
And what did I haven't heard any feedback.
Yeah.
So what's the verdict?
Well, at the time I'd spoken to him, he'd only heard it through once, and he loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he listened to the whole thing once.
Good first impression.
Yeah. He was just all about it. Couldn't believe we'd done this whole album in that time. Yeah, like it is kind of rare to sort of get that feedback. I'll let him listen more, and like we might hear some different things over the coming weeks. But yeah, generally Paul's really good with being like, you should like,
yeah.
You know, he's not mean, but like he would be like, maybe just explore a few more songs or something like that. But he was like, this is really good.
Sick.
Feels like a good album, and you know, it was still like unmixed at the time. It's just like pretty raw of what's gone in. You know, there'd be some editing and things that need to happen, and maybe some slight little nudges here and there.
Yeah.
But you know, again, nothing major that I think anyone would really pick up on like right away. So, you know, it just goes to show what you can achieve in those sort of scenarios when you've got good people around. You know, you can kind of make decisions
quickly and keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving through. I think another philosophy I took from that was like, if a song is just like a minute and it feels good and feels nice, like maybe that's it. It's just like,
what was so he did one of the songs, and it was First Thing in the Morning. It was about the sunrise and like the ocean and full coasty vibe.
Yeah.
But like,
wasn't hanging in the air, was it?
No, but the fact that it was First Thing in the Morning, he wasn't warmed up.
Yeah.
It was this vulnerable live take. First take we kept. We're just like, that's it. Like, why? And every other take beyond that, he would stop, or he'd be like, no, that's not it. Like, and I was like, let's just keep, like, that's the one.
Yeah.
Like, no reverb, just live guitar, no click tracks, nothing, just Bud and the guitar.
There's a few that didn't have click track.
Yeah.
Or a couple. I think, we ended up getting it in there some of the time. It's funny, I think, like, one of the Hero songs is a cover. All I Need, right? Radiohead.
Oh, yeah, man. That was so fun.
People keep coming back to that, and like, you know, it being this kind of cornerstone for the record, which, you know, it's funny because I'm in two minds about those things. Like, it's not Bud's song, but it kind of is now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, never be afraid to kind of, and again, it was like, we were sort of racking our minds, like, and we had been for months on like different covers to do. We knew about the Joy Division one, but there was no real talk about doing a second cover. But then on the day, I was like, I reckon we should try something. And then for Bud to bring that song up, I was like, it seems like Radiohead just seemed like such an untouchable band.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just like back to those instincts of like, what do I like about the song? I was like, I just love the chorus. Like, it's a cool song, and like, we can geek out about the production. But I was like, as a listener, like, in this modern age of like, you know, lack of interest in anything, it was like, what do I latch onto? And it's just that chorus. So I was like, let's just keep repeating that. And
it got so experimental too.
Yeah, because we had a bit of time, I think, too, at that one, because we were like, we're way ahead of the game here.
Yeah.
You know, ended up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Singing stuff in the bathroom.
Oh, funny moment. Funny as fuck moment. Yeah. So Bud finished, like, Yamanui has, like, the bathroom is a reverb chamber. So there's, like, every room at Yamanui you can record and plug mics into, basically, and the bathroom's one of those rooms. We had Bud singing like almost distant reverberant vocal takes in the bathroom, and then as soon as he finished that take, he went and took a piss.
So loud.
And we just recorded his piss. But yeah, it was so funny.
And it was long.
Yes.
It was like he'd been holding it in for a while. And just to end such a a dear moment.
Yeah, beautiful, like really touching, sad song.
It's
and then
quiet too. Like
quiet.
so the mics are like they're pushing. Like they're turned up.
And then he just hits the water like it's
Niagara Falls. Friggin' hell. That was awesome. Yeah, that was really funny.
Oh man.
But yeah, epic experience.
Yeah,
Beautiful record. Can't wait for that one to come out. And
you said something interesting about like doing that cover and being in two minds. And I was listening to Rick Rubin talk about his time with Johnny Cash. Like Johnny Cash was like his career was fucked.
Yeah.
For 20 years. No one wanted to touch him.
Yeah.
Right? So Rick Rubin signed him to Def Jam and he was in his 60s.
Yeah, he was not young.
Like, no. And like Rick was talking about the initial demo session and how good it was just hearing Johnny Cash play with his guitar and nothing else. Like no verbs, just that moment, that vulnerability, that sad old man just delivering in that moment,
Yeah.
They tried him with a band. They basically deleted that whole session.
Yeah.
They're just like, nah. Like, that's...
Is this the same
we'll pay
set
everyone and you can go home.
where he's like sending him the ones to pick?
Yeah.
And he kept saying no?
Yeah.
And he kept putting Hurt on there?
Well, that's when they decided to record him again, but just acoustic.
Yeah.
2 mics, 1 mic,
Yeah.
a room. And then they did Hurt.
Yeah.
And it was actually the cover that blew him back up.
Right, like he just...
And it was a whole younger generation of fans
Yeah.
that Johnny Cash never had. Like,
Yeah.
it was all these old fans he was trying to win back.
Yeah.
But this whole younger generation latched onto him and
Yeah.
actually made him blow up. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
was unaware of all that too, because I'd liked Johnny Cash, because Folsom Prison Blues and
Yeah,
Jackson,
yeah.
like probably having a mum that listened to old music, like it never occurred to me that he'd gone
Yeah.
off the radar
Yeah.
so much. I mean, I probably just thought he was like dead or something. Like
Yeah.
I do with any old musician. I'm like, oh, they're just...
Oh, he's retired, just living
Yeah.
off his money.
Yeah,
Nah,
it
he
was
was struggling.
Yeah. And then to do a 9 Inch Nails cover,
Yeah.
like, yeah. And that's what I thought too, because I thought, if anyone's going to pick a cover, I'm going to pick a cover. Like, I know what covers are good. And
Yeah.
Bud ended up coming up with, the idea for that one, and,
Yeah.
worked out so much better than anything I could choose.
Yeah. I remember when he just started playing and we're like, hell yes. Like, it was a total, like, reveal, like, of what was so obvious, but we just didn't see it,
Yeah,
So,
it really encapsulated the album.
Yeah.
It's a lot of love stories in that record.
Yeah. No, that's get ready for that one. It's going to be a banger.
It's going to blow him up as big as Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Great record, great time. More, please. Let's tap into Warner again and say, you should make this a deluxe album.
Yeah, I'll do a whole nother... Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like when I think I was, getting to that before. It's like, you can think that studio time and recording and having producers and people around is expensive, and it is. It doesn't have to be.
No.
If you're rehearsed and if you kind of know what you're doing, and like you can get 10 songs done in 5 days.
And people that can move quickly, like, just like, move on to the next thing. Don't spend too much time here. Like, don't dwell. Just like make it good enough and then move on to the next thing. And
just sometimes the producer's fault.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's the artist's fault.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones like, oh, is this the right thing? Like, don't second guess anything. Just if it's a nice song, deliver it well.
Yeah.
Do it well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it ended up being so good. And that's right. Like, we, I don't know anything about the budget or anything like that, but there probably is another 5 days there that we can either go and do a whole nother record, or if it is like, oh, you know what, like, we've put some songs out and like these ones are kind of the ones like that are doing really well, like, you then know, like, oh, next time it's like, oh, well, me as an artist and us as a group kind of really liked anything. If we're seeing that response, from from the fans, it's like, well, we can do some more of that, like,
Mm-hmm.
because we liked that, you know, like, there's
Yeah.
nothing on there we didn't like doing.
No, and there is it is still that common denominator of Bud and the guitar, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
but there's all these nuanced flavors that are happening. So,
Yeah.
like, you're totally right. Like, you
Yeah.
can throw it all at the wall and see what sticks. And
Yeah. Well, it had this whole sort of national thing.
Yeah.
Like the national
yeah,
feeling
Yeah.
starting to happen. And it wasn't something I kind of ever thought, you know, for Bud.
Yeah.
It has eventuated that way. And if people start to see that and that audience starts to see that, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wicked experience.
Yeah, like even visualizing what he could be like in a Nick Cave sense.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, like having that orchestral
Yeah.
backing and
Yeah.
that more experimental framework, like,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, hopefully something blows up so that we
Yeah.
have the budget for that next time.
Just get the guy a new hat or make him stop wearing caps on stage, you know?
Yeah. I tried that. I actually thought about that. I was like, you need a bloody sweet.
Just do the
Akubra.
slick back, bud. If you're watching, do the slick back. Throw the
Yeah.
caps away, bro.
Yeah, he loves the caps, eh? Whistler or something.
It's the
What's
truck
that?
driver thing.
I
It's
know.
just, you know.
He had this super sweet one that says Bud, like King of Beers or something. He rocks up in his Whistler, and I'm like, what even is Whistler? Is this like some surf brand?
It's
Like,
a wetsuit brand.
yeah, doesn't even surf anymore. It's fake news.
Well, he doesn't drink either, so it's...
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
King of Beers is probably a bit of a false
Yeah,
advertisement.
he's definitely not the King of Beers.
King of the meatballs.
That's true. King of Meatballs. He's on his carnivore diet or whatever.
Ugh.
Wild. So yeah, awesome experience.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do it all again. Yeah, they're my takeaways for anyone
Yeah.
listening for the takeaways.
Yeah, go follow and listen to Bud Rokeski.
Yeah.
Amazing. Your mum will love it. Promise.
Yeah.
What else has been happening? What else have you been doing?
Well, I've been back at the, just working at the station. Some good gigs coming through there. We had Bud play with Matt
Yep.
Corby. That was an awesome sellout show.
Rink.
Emily Rink.
Yeah.
She's killing it, doing her
Yep.
thing now, and she's got a cool new band,
Yep.
which sounded amazing. She used in-ears for the first time
Right.
at that show,
Yeah.
so she was a little nervous about that, but as using any kind of new gear, new band, whatever, like, you're gonna have some butterflies. But yeah, I think she killed it.
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see sort of her progression forward with this little new team and family around her, and
Definitely one to watch.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really fun show. I don't know how many ended up in the end, maybe like 1,500. So it's
That's
kind
an
of cool.
awesome turnout.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. So like the venue feels real good and sounds awesome. And
Yeah.
there's a few of those coming up because Hoodoo Gurus have sold that many. They're coming like next month. Next month's crazy for gigs.
Yeah.
This month's not too crazy.
Yeah.
They're wanting to do something for that because it's Oz Music Month this week.
Fuck November.
Shout out all the Australian musicians. But
Yeah.
there's the T-shirt.
Why am I not wearing an Australian music t-shirt?
No, I'm sitting here
Don't
in some
hate. Don't
generic LA T-shirt.
Yeah.
Just like
And
the
New
way-
York Yankees. You look so confused right now, bro.
I literally had somebody say that to me today about that, but for someone who just like doesn't follow sport, but also has a weird body type, like I'm quite tall, I have a huge head, so like not that many hats like fit me. My wife
Yankee-
knows like all about this.
The Yankee hat's great, bro.
Well, yeah, but I don't buy it because it's New York Yankees. I bought it because it fits my head. Like it's the only reason why I go in, because I'm bald as well. So like, I'm a hat guy,
You
like,
should just embrace the baldness, bro.
well, I am, but it's like a sun smart thing, right?
Yeah,
Like
it is.
you have your hat on because you don't want to get hammered by the sun.
Yeah.
So I have like 4 hats, and if I ever find a hat that fits, I just buy it.
Yeah.
Because you go into those stores, like whatever Stateside Sport or like JD Sports.
Yep.
None of the hats fit me. None of them. This is from Rebel Sport.
It's because you're
some of
really
them fit
smart,
me.
bro. That's why
I
hats
don't know
don't
what
fit
it
you.
is. I think it's just some genetic bullshit. And yeah, being tall, I like certain shirts that like kind of like longer without being too long.
Yeah.
That was like a big thing, like the
Yeah, the oversized, like...
yeah, but that's too long, and often they're like real
Yeah.
skinny,
Yeah.
and like that doesn't work either.
No.
So Anyway, I love this shirt for the fit.
Yeah.
The hat is just...
I'm not hating, bro. You just be yourself and don't change for
I wish I
anyone.
was wearing a Australian band t-shirt.
I do
don't
too.
even have that many.
I've got a bit of a collection happening.
Yeah.
But they're
Definitely
also
more onto it
chewed
than
up
me.
and spat out.
Mm.
Like, yeah.
I don't even have like a Matt Corby shirt, and he's
Ugh.
not only a dear friend of mine, but I've been a part of like those albums. I think I bought a Bud shirt, and my wife ended up with it. Yeah, it's just like it's all I wore when I was a kid. Was
I got
not
some
Australian bands.
I got some lipsticks merch you can
Oh
rock.
yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're oversized. They're heavy cotton.
Oh yeah, all your shirts are always good.
Thanks,
like
man.
I love my Stonewax one,
Hell yeah.
although it's like a long
Buy a
sleeve.
Stonewax tee.
It's getting a bit hot for that one, but you know,
Yeah.
it's my solid winter t-shirt.
Yeah.
Um,
Might have to do a Christmas discount or something for all the.
Well, we're at the station that we're going to do on November 30th is like you can bring your merch and sell it
Oh.
because the Oz Music Month, the Oz Music T-shirt day.
Mm.
It's like if you sell your shirts, you donate like $1 to a charity. I forget which one.
That's cool.
But we were going to set up at the station. I was just going to set up like a PA backline. Anyone who wants to come down and play, and anyone who wants to come and like sell their shirts, like a suitcase rummage
Sick.
kind of vibe.
Like
but,
car boot style.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
band shirts don't just show up with your wardrobe unless like all you own is like
I've got all
band
these
shirts.
trinkets. And
Yeah,
a spoon collection.
So yeah, they can sell. People can cruise in and grab your shirt like right there and just donate $1 to the
Yeah.
charity. And
That's a sick idea.
yeah, I know like there's like things online that do it like for different artists, and yeah, people try and support it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, end of the month we'll do that as just a bit of a pop-up free
Mm-hmm.
little thing to support Australian music as best as we
Nice.
can.
Nice.
It's tough out there, man. It's tough out there.
November 30th.
Yeah, November 30th. Yeah.
Get out there
2024.
and take your suitcase of merch and just go sell merch.
Yeah. Bring your little square. Maybe we can even help with that too. I'm sure there's ways that you can use our like FBOS or whatever.
Yeah. You can do like itemized
That's right. Yeah.
stuff and get a full.
Yeah. So you can
Yeah.
get your money. So
Yeah.
you know, so you can buy more shirts and sell
Yeah.
more T-shirts to people.
Because we're not artists, we're t-shirt salesmen.
That's right. Most of the time, most of our income is coming from that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild.
Crazy.
But no, that's pretty much what I've been up to. Obviously, I have small children, take them camping, hang
Yeah.
out with them. I've been thinking about getting Sonny into a bit more music.
Yeah.
He's got a little acoustic guitar. He's 6, so
Does he produce with you? Does he sit there and...
no.
Because he's a bit of a gamer, right?
Yeah, he likes his games, but he's been banned from Fortnite now. It's like a
Yeah.
whole thing at our house. Yeah, so he's it comes up a lot, but anyway, he's playing other games now, and I'm like helping him like more age appropriate
Okay.
games. But yeah, I wonder if like he'd sort of any kid like
Yeah.
find like, as soon as you start getting good at something, it becomes really fun.
Have you seen that little Instagram famous kid that's just producing? Like he's like a little 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
he's so good at
Yeah.
it. Singing harmonies and stuff.
It's
like,
wild, hey.
Like
See how his
editing
mind
his
works.
harmonies,
Yeah.
playing bass lines. Like,
Well, Justin Bieber was like that too. Like in the early days, like he was just like a YouTube kid, like
Yeah.
putting up videos of himself drumming, and
yeah.
he's probably a little bit older than Sonny. But imagine he would have started at a
Yeah.
pretty young age. By the time you're 10 to be like half decent at something, to worthy of going viral and online.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's something that's on the horizon. Is maybe get Sonny playing a bit of guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Kids that just want to play drums. Hey, it's like it's a hard one.
Yeah.
It's a hard, noisy thing to
It's
get.
a tough first year. That's for sure.
Yeah. I still reckon it'd be better than like any of like the classical instruments. I find
Oh, yeah.
those would
Like a
suck.
violin just
Oh
out
my
of tune
God. Saxophone
for
or
12
something.
months. Yeah.
Like friggin'
yeah.
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 So
Drums and piano. Drums
Yeah.
and piano.
yeah, drums, piano, guitar.
Singing.
Yeah, exactly. Singing is an awesome one.
Yeah.
We do plenty of that. Yeah, he's starting to get embarrassed a bit though. Like kids become self-aware.
Yeah.
you know, when they're little, they just don't care, run around nude or whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Now it's suddenly like, oh, you
Yeah.
know, I'm naked or I'm singing in front of you or something. And
I'm naked at the servo, Dad.
yeah,
What the hell? Like,
yeah. But yeah, that'd be a real cool sort of next step for young Sonny boy.
yeah, Sonny, let's make a track together. You know,
He's on a track actually, like a rap track I did.
with I think you've showed me this.
Yeah, the JD and Don't Take Acid Kids. We like
That's
bribed him with a lolly to say that when he was like 3. And then he's like, just kidding, like be free or something. And then
Yeah.
we wrote this song called Classic Acid,
Oh, dude.
which was meant to sort of be like this tip towards acid jazz, but it wasn't. It was just probably about
Became like
drugs.
trip hop.
Yeah, just getting a bit trippy from a time in the studio that happened. You know? Yeah, not to get too deep into a band I was hanging out with who all wanted to. Maybe we can talk about it. Whatever.
You're
It's
on a
like,
tangent now, dude. Just go.
well, I'm like, should we get into like? Are we turning into one of those podcasts that talks about drugs and? You know, we're so informative and so like PG.
Yeah, but this is we're in the 1% club now.
yeah,
we can
we
kind of
do.
do what we want.
Yeah. Well, I won't name the band, but it was a band. We were in a studio and like there was this like a plastic thing like full of acid, and you know I've never actually taken acid, but these guys decided to indulge in that, and from what I've heard is like how you keep acid is really important because it can like seep through. So if, like these little sheets, if they're kind of like stacked up on top of each other, the ones at the very bottom are going to be like way more potent than the ones at the top.
Ooh.
So no one, I guess, really knew that, and like they ended up like in a bathroom. There was like 2 humongous bathrooms at this place, just like grey walls, kind of like just sitting there like looking at the walls, like telling these mad stories. And one person was like having like a way wilder time than everybody else, and I was like, I guess they've had whatever's like settled on the bottom.
Look at the bottom.
Yeah, and it was a classic scenario of like there was like 3 people who took it. There was 6 like tabs of acid. Everyone takes one. 2 hours later, no one's feeling anything.
Yeah.
So they all take another one.
Right.
And then it's like now everyone's like feeling way too much, and yeah, classic kind of rock and roll behavior. Yeah, really fun for me. What do they call? I'm the trip sitter. That's the term.
The trip sitter.
Trip sitter. Yeah.
Trip sitter.
So someone who's like remains sober, and
the trip sitter.
Trip sitter. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I heard this term like maybe then or afterwards, but somebody who can kind of
maintain the
environment.
and
Like if someone like really freaks out, like I can always like
yeah
drive them to hospital or something. You know, I don't. Not that it ever got that way, but like
that would be the worst situation.
Worst case scenario, but like maybe it helps the people who are tripping to sort of know like there is like somebody of sound mind within the area that we're in, because you know we're in the middle of nowhere. Like if something did go wrong, you know I could figure it out, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure that like happened all the time back in the day, but it's less likely these days. Like the worst thing in this session was just Bud's meatball burps.
Literally,
that was like the worst, the craziest thing. Or recording him peeing.
Yeah. Poor Craig, just like trying to like record stuff, and then Butter just like
popping out a sweet meatball
burp in the microphone,
fill the whole room with a dirty old meatball burp. It doesn't get as wild as maybe what it used to.
No.
You've got a big. I don't know if you want to announce it to everyone, but you've got a big life step.
Oh, look.
Where are we?
In my new house.
Hey.
Yeah. This is the new studio. So you got to get used to this space.
We're like above the garage right now.
Yep. This is going to be like, eventually this will be control room. Maybe like a bit of a, like I can, like a bit of a hybrid room. But eventually I want to build downstairs as like a little booth. Not a massive space, but yeah, it's the dream really. It's all coming true.
Yeah, it's an awesome place, great space.
Yeah.
I mean, how killer would this also be as like a bedroom?
Oh well, I was like, do I sleep up here or do I just?
No,
Nah,
it's
no.
too good.
It needs to be a creative space.
Yeah,
It needs to be a
100%.
creative space.
It's so cool, just with like the beams and the A-frame and it's such an awesome space.
I'd rather sleep in the tiny little shoebox down there.
Yeah, because like what, you're just in your room to sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like unless you're hanging out in there, like no one really does that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. Pinching myself every day. I'll
Yeah.
walk around here and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful house, beautiful property.
Yeah.
There's a nice drive in.
Yeah. So, yeah, big things to come with this space.
Yeah.
Lots to do, but it's a beautiful start.
Yeah, great start. Like, awesome.
Out of the swamp.
Yeah, out of the swamp.
Out of the swamp. Now on the hill.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, you got everything you need here as like foundationally to build the dream studio and have your own studio.
Oh my god.
And you've always got Yamanui when you need it, you know.
Well, it's not going to compare. It'll be a different sound. You know, Yamanui and even Fireside up in Gympie, like they're both heavy players in their own way.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be like a little humble vibe. It'll allow me to, you know, do some work here and offer a bit of a different sound and get some headspace, you know. Yeah.
Just walk out of your room, walk upstairs to a studio is a nice thing to not have to
coffee,
drive.
PJs. I'm a bedroom producer.
Yeah. This is a dope bedroom production space.
Yeah, so big life step here and lots of debt, but it's all, you know, it's either debt or rent, the way I see it.
It's all the same shit.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah. They just keep trying to find ways to take money away from us musicians.
Yeah, that's it, you know. We're always going to be broke musicians, but we love it. We do it for the love of it.
That's right. And you try and get away and it just drags you back in.
That's why we got to sell T-shirts. Shitloads of T-shirts.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Oh, I hope there's like some, not that I, you know much about politics or anything, but I hope whatever powers that be and the economics and politicians and stuff, like one day kind of realize like, hey, like maybe we need more music and, you know, we need to like help people because we want amazing musicians to continue to sort of rise through, and we might see it, but I know there's that new, like they're trying to stop kids from being on like social media.
Oh, I heard there's like a few age restrictions.
Yeah.
And
like I wonder if that will play a big impact on on that. Like,
there's a lot of restriction around what they can see.
Yeah, well, it's like 16. Like you're not allowed on it until you're 16.
So they've changed it again, right?
Well, I don't think it's in yet, but I believe that like that's going to be the case for America and Australia.
I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I think kids need to be kids and
not have so much pressure on their own self-esteem.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and just sort of being fed things from the algorithm. But I wonder if like it would have an effect on, you know, those like artists that I guess have like built careers off of tweens. You know, and it's like, are they kind of, you know, are these young people kind of growing up just like continually loving that artist, and is the artist kind of growing with them, or is like, you know, they're just sort of not continually growing or like sticking around? Like I guess it's more like your Taylor Swifts and Olivia Rodrigo's and like things like that really appeal to the younger demographic.
Probably is a better decision to be introduced by your elders to these things more so than like you said, an algorithm making those decisions.
Yeah. Well, there was the big study. It was, I don't know if it was an actual study or if it was just Danny from Dune Rats telling me about it, but he was telling me that he's like he said, "Bro, check out the study." It could have been a study, but basically during lockdown was like there was, you know, whatever. I know it was different for like each state, different countries and stuff like that, but you know, the sort of 17, 18, 19-year-olds that were locked down during that time. And, you know, you could arguably say, well, you know, kind of not really allowed to go to shows for maybe a year. Like it was definitely discouraged. I know it was probably a shorter amount of time than that, but let's say a year. You know, the older generation who was like 18, 19, 20, were the ones that would like, you know, as you come of age in Australia, it's like 18, you can go to a bar or a club or a pub or a venue. And so when you're 18, you're like, sick, I can go like to this show, and like your mate who's already 18 or someone who's 19 or 20 or whatever is like, we'll take you and like show you the ropes. You know, that didn't happen.
That demographic would have been a huge chunk.
Yeah, so they kind of like
that's interesting. It's
didn't know how to do it. Like there became a lot of social anxiety. Yeah, it's this sort of like, you know, maybe the people that had just started doing it as well, like kind of like stopped doing it, and they were like, oh well, I'm gonna, you know, just go on my phone or like watch Netflix at home, something like that, rather than go to a club or a pub or a venue. So there's this, and they're probably like some of the biggest numbers.
Yeah, like I'd never actually thought about the demographic, that demographic itself as being such a impact. Like, you're totally right. Yeah, those initial club goers, like,
and I think it would just have an effect on everything. So like if there is a lot of 18, 19, 20, 21 year olds going out, like for one, they probably still live at home. You know, so they maybe got a bit more disposable income to like buy drinks or like tickets. Then there's like the atmosphere in which like they create, like just by sheer numbers of people. Like when it's really fun at a place, like if you go to a nightclub and there's like 4 people there, it's like, you know, you're not going to stick around. It's like no one's dancing. Like this isn't a vibe. You go there, there's like a couple hundred people dancing, having a good time. You're going to be like, hey, like that was sick. Like let's call our friends and we'll make a night of it. So that just like didn't happen, and it's still having this like effect, and it's like retraining.
Yeah, like, literally training the habits again, eh?
This demographic to kind of be like, hey, like you can go out and like have fun, and like this is like how you do it. Like you have a few drinks at home or whatever, and like you know, so you don't have to like spend as much when you go out, and it's just interesting that is, you know, we're still catching up from that, even though it's been years. Like it's been 4 years.
So how, like, quick example, how did the demographic look at the Corby show?
He's got a pretty like mixed demographic, I'd say.
Were there kids there though? Like, were they younger?
Yeah, a few. I'd say it was, I don't know, I'd have to look up. I'm sure we have the stats somewhere.
More like 25 to 40.
Yeah, I'd say so. And then like people with their kids, like, because we, you know, were all ages, so there was a few sort of youngins there, which was cool to see as well. But yeah, we can sort of see it too in like bar sales. Like we can sort of see the difference in like different demographics and how much they drink, and like, because there was a Shepherd show not long before that one, and not massive drinkers. You know, didn't spend heaps over the bar.
Whereas Hootie Gurus would just be like,
probably be massive. Yeah, the Ministry of Sound gigs that we do, like huge drinkers. Like, you know, I'm not saying like they're, I don't know, wasted or anything, but like just per head, they spend a lot more. And that's, you know, what keeps venues alive, is like bands sell t-shirts, venues sell alcohol. You know, there's not like much money that we make from ticket sales and things like that. Like it's, most of that goes to the band and the agents and all of that stuff. It's, that barely covers its own costs, and most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it's supplemented from bar sales. And I don't know how aware people are of that, but like that's how venues survive.
So like that's even, you know, we're going to talk about future and future proofing things and like what's going to happen next year, and like that's an interesting topic. That's like that's a ballpark of conversation right there. Like venues in 2025, like will there be any, you know what I mean? It's a tricky one. Like it's definitely got to be like a cultural shift. I think it's like there's economic parts to it as well, just like people being able to afford it. Transport is probably another big one, especially for the Sunshine Coast. I know it's different in major cities. Like they're not faced with like, you know, getting to and from gigs is probably easier with train lines and multiple bus lines and stuff like that. Ubers even, like it's hard to get an Uber up here. You've really kind of got to plan your whole night out. But
I think again, it's just like building that culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want to try and do at least 90 shows at the station next year. I think this year it's been like 26 shows. So they opened in February.
Yeah.
You know, so 26 is still like a really... it'll be 26 maybe by the time December comes around. And then next year the aim is for like, that 80 or 90, you know, decent performances.
Okay. Have you started booking those?
Yeah, there's 40 already booked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick. Touring acts and all kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like just big shows too. Like that's...
Yeah.
Some of those bands like might be local. They might live around here. But yeah, they're just like bigger shows. I'd say on average like 800 capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that doesn't include like any local stuff that we want to do, and like, you know, live and local and supporting local bands, and even smaller shows. I'd love to do some like smaller, intimate, low key shows, like seated ones, like grab a feed, grab a beer, sit down, a few hundred people. Like I'd love to see people like Dan Sultan, you know, solo. Gareth Lydiard, like from the Drones.
That would be sick.
You know, I've seen his gigs. Like I mixed one of his shows years ago, and he's so good. And like
he's so good.
And it is a show that you can sit down for and just enjoy. Like it's interesting. It's still a great show, but like you're not dancing.
No. But like even like a jazz night or like, you know, those kind of events where it is a bit more like art driven. You know, like.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see a little bit more of that, where it's not expected to fill a massive venue. It's like just 200, 300, 400, you know, people can cruise in and enjoy a good night. That's sort of the next stage, is like figuring out how we afford to do that, you know, which seems so crazy. It's like the smaller the show, kind of the harder it becomes to like afford it.
Hence why you need those bigger ones to kind of balance things out a bit.
Yeah. So that's sort of, next year the station would be, cool to see that amount of shows, just good stuff that people want to buy tickets for. There's heaps of amazing stuff. I can't say who a lot of them are, because it's like I'll say it and then they might not necessarily continue on with their tour, and I'll let them be the ones to break the news. But some really, really fun stuff that's coming through, and some's already announced. Like Two Door Cinema Club should be fun, and Pinal.
That'll be fun.
Hoodoo Gurus, and Amel and the Sniffers is announced.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Rudimental, announced.
Sick.
They're huge.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Worldwide, bro.
Crazy amount of streaming numbers. But they're like producers. You know, so like they're on these massive tracks. Massive songs, like billions and billions of streams. So I hope that one, that's a Monday night, so we'll see.
All right. Rudimental Monday night.
Maybe
an RDO, everyone.
I know, right? But like such a high-end band to, you know, come through, and that one's announced, which is cool.
Sick.
It's
all happening. So what else in 2025?
Well, I'd like to get some more guests on here on our podcast. Would be really fun.
Reach out. We were supposed to have Demi Kasha this year, but she had something come up, so it was a last minute little pull out. But more guests. If you're an artist, if you're a industry honcho, whatever, join us in that sense. Bands, like we'll get a few crew to shoot the shit. I can see Nuff and Butter sending some love on the old live there.
Is there any comments on the live?
There's a few comments. It's a bit far away for me to read, but
no questions. Live questions, and it will be
live questions.
Live
anyone? I'll just come crawling over there. Interviews, industry shifts. I've been kind of nerding out a bit on like 2025 marketing, social media marketing, stuff like that. Like even where social media is going. And tech trends, all this shit. Like I'm a huge nerd for that. But it's
going to be a bit of that next year.
Lots of different shifts. Like even the follower. Like this whole term of the follower. Like that's going to just die, I reckon. Like that whole concept would just be like, it'll mean nothing, and the whole true fan thing will just push its way forward even more. And it's what was the term? It's about keeping people engaged in a sense of having them show up where you want them to show up.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I think we can dive deeper on that when the
Yeah,
time
I'm
comes.
interested to hear how it's going to pan out for next year and,
Yeah,
you know, keep a close eye on some bands that are doing it well and,
yeah,
you know, still
exactly.
getting those decent numbers and selling stuff and
Yeah.
getting streams and...
Even the fact of like businesses, corporations and shit, they're all of those branding concepts, they're just like falling away now. It's all like personality and
Yeah.
personal brands that are really
Yeah,
winning
true.
the game. So it's a cool thing to think about, especially if you are an artist or if you are like we touched on branding in our last episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being a personality and like everyone's marketing world hates the term authenticity and shit.
Yeah.
Because it's just been so overused and saturated. But it's more about just being who you are and not trying to manipulate who you are to fit a mold. You know,
Yeah.
like lots of things.
Yeah, I think people are becoming more aware of that and like clued into this whole like influenced
Yeah.
sort of culture.
Even the influencer thing's dying off. Like it's all like trust, the personality, like people latching onto people that they like and can relate to more than like buy this handbag because this person has it. You know what I mean? Like
people, I think too are like, I know like, not that I want to ever touch on anything sort of American politics, but like I think people are a bit sick of it. They're kind of like, they like what they like, they hate what they hate, and they're becoming, I think, less ashamed to just say that. And I never want to like focus on anything like hatred, like what you hate. I mean, I hate coriander. Like you can hate foods. I think they don't even have feelings. But liking what you like is really important, and I think like people are maybe getting a little bit more like aware of just like I really like this thing, and like I don't care if you don't like it. Like I love this band, or I love this like brand or product, or you know, I like going fossicking for gold. And I don't care that it's like not a part of like what I'm meant to be doing. I'm meant to be going to the beach.
Exactly.
I prefer to do that. Well, go ahead and do that. Like I think people are just a little less ashamed and trying to like fit into like some sort of mold or like somebody else's thing, and hopefully that we'll see that in music too, just like
that is a good point, because I think that's what you need to do like anyway, like to really find like we're all influenced by different things and we're all inspired by different people and different forms of art and whatever, but that's what makes us unique, you know.
And it's fine to have that happen. Like if somebody like influences you and it's like, well, you really like the thing, like, good. Great.
Fuck yeah.
Love it.
Ride that wave.
Get amongst it. But don't be like, oh, like just because these people like this band, I'm going to like them, and you're like struggling to like listen to them, or these people drink this kind of beer, so I'm going to drink it, and you're like, oh, this tastes awful. Like, why do I keep drinking this just because like I think it's a cool thing? You know, it's just like, no, like I felt that this is such a stupid thing, but like I was like, I like Fanta now again, but I'd always like drink it because I don't drink alcohol, so like you drink a Coca-Cola, Pepsi, maybe a ginger beer, like a Bundy ginger beer. They're kind of the normal things to like drink at a pub or something, but Fanta's like generally a kid's drink, but I really like it, and I was like, why do I not just like buy myself, like I'm a grown man, like I can buy Fanta and just have that. And sort of, but like even those like tiny little things in your mind, or you're like, oh no, I've got to drink either a beer, or if I don't drink alcohol, I'm gonna have a Coca-Cola. It's like, nah, if you like Fanta, like go for it, like just enjoy that thing. And same with music too. If it's like, oh, you really like that local band, and or like, you know, whatever band that's just you just like keen to get into, but it's not like, oh, this band's like popping off right now, like let's all jump on the train. It's like, well, you know, if you don't like them, whatever, just listen to something else and get into it.
be yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I hope we see a lot more of that. Like,
Yeah, I think we will. I think that's like part of this whole social media shift as
Yeah.
well. So
you're gonna have the other side of it. You're gonna have people like hating stuff as well. Like, it's just a natural thing, a natural balance of like, yeah, if people start loving stuff, they're gonna start hating stuff as well. But whatever.
But that's what makes the people who love you even more, because
Exactly.
it's like community driven.
Yeah.
It's like, now we are part of this team. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
I think it's much needed. Like you said before, like kids and the shift in social media laws and all that sort of thing. Like, it's all gonna be better. Like,
Yeah.
it's all gonna be better.
Yeah. And hopefully music can respond to that as well. Maybe like by like, if you're a younger band or if you're a band that want to appeal to younger people, like, you're gonna have to do something different. Like, you know, show up with flyers at like a school and be like, hey, like, we're this band, like, you can stream our stuff, you know, create that kind of personal connection, do all ages shows, put up posters, like, do all the old school stuff. Like, if you can't reach your audience through social media and you're like, oh, we actually kind of write young punk music for 15-year-olds or whatever, you know, you're going to have to find another way to find that crowd.
Punk Wiggles would be sick.
Yeah.
Someone do it, please. Someone do that.
How many like punk bands like still have their career because we all found them when we were 15.
Yeah.
And it appealed to us then because of all our raging hormones and emotions just all over the shop, and we're like, we're punk, and we still listen to them now because it becomes nostalgic.
That's the Ramones though, right? Like, that's it.
All of them, like Blink-182, right? Like,
yeah,
like,
Blink-182, man.
You know, like, they had to have built a career off of young people.
Yeah.
And they found a way. There was no social media back then. Like, it was, you know, I guess like TV Rage and stuff like that.
American Pie.
Yeah, movies like that are just out of your age group, you know, like Rating or whatever. Yeah, 100% finding music that way. There is like another thing, I hate doing this, but like there's the Sunshine Coast Music Industry Collective, which I'm a part of, has a cool announcement coming out this week. I think I have a meeting about it tonight. So yeah, that'll be, keep your ears out if you're aware of this.
Well, you're just going to tease us and not actually...
Yeah, because they'll probably get angry at me.
So is it tonight?
So when the announcement comes out?
If we post this podcast tomorrow, it might be announced?
I don't know. But I know it, like... Yeah, again, it's like probably not a massive... I'm not going to say it, but like it's just a cool thing for the Sunshine Coast music people, something that we've wanted and needed. And yeah, so I think a lot of people follow the Sunshine Coast Music Industry Collective. I know they have like, you can sign up to Facebook and an email, and it's run by like really cool people like Andy Ward and Liz from the Soul Bar and Sarah Howes, and yeah, a lot of great people are on that on that sort of board. But yeah, I know there is like another part of it which I can share, which is like the AGM, you know, the annual general meeting, which is where you vote for the board members and stuff. So it'll all kind of be like a party around that, which yeah, it would be really fun. And again, just another kind of group up here, which is, you know, here
making good change.
Yeah, trying to just like create something that is cool for the Sunshine Coast, because the Gold Coast have, you know, their one, and Brisbane has their one, and like just some sort of place where artists can get resources, or at least connected to somebody who has resources.
Is it a Sunshine Coast Music Awards?
Not saying.
Did I get pretty close? Oh, shit.
Not saying.
Oh,
we have to wait and see for the announcement. You got to sign up to the thing to get it.
Teasing. No, that's exciting. More infrastructure up here would be awesome. Like
Yeah. I think there'll be a few things like that. Yeah, it's just sort of making it more official, and you know, and again, like voting people on or off. You know, hopefully not off the board. Like, I think it's a cool group of people. But yeah, anyone else who wants to like get involved and be a part of it, like, it just gives people the opportunity. I know it's a small group, like it's not anything major, but it could be one day. I think there is a couple of other kind of groups up here, but they're, I don't know, like they're focused, I guess, in other areas. Like, I think this is a bit more like actual live music and recording and like artists, you know.
Great. You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So
also heard in the grapevine that some of the major film studio companies are going to be investing
I heard that too.
in the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
So they might be building big studios here, like
Yeah.
movie studios. So
Yeah, I heard that as well.
yeah,
That'd be awesome.
that could happen next year.
Yep.
Which would be a dope conversation
Yeah.
to have, like creating your music for sync purposes,
Yeah.
like making sure all those kind of stem packages are ready just in case you get pitched and you get a song on these films. Like,
Yep.
talk about money, you won't have to be selling that many t-shirts. Like,
Yeah, heaps of cool ways to, and just having it local too, like just being, getting yourself out there, using all the things we've spoken about over years, of just building awareness of who you are.
Yep.
So that when it's like, oh, we need this thing for this like type of movie or show, it's like, I'm sure like they'd love to go local.
Yeah.
Before going, overseas.
Extras work.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like more work in general. Like, if you want to get out of your construction job, like you can go work in the film studios.
Yeah. Just the culture as well. Just having like more people up here who are involved in all this stuff. Yeah, it's awesome.
Like the similar thing that's already happening on Gold Coast, but up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Pretty
keep hearing about that
exciting.
too. I hope it happens.
Yeah.
I know it's obviously a big thing if it does. So
That's a lot of money coming into
Yeah.
into this town. If so, like that's huge.
yeah,
So that's exciting.
yeah, I'm pumped for next year. I think there's a lot of cool stuff for the Sunshine Coast. Like I think the culture's growing.
Yeah.
We're seeing it grow. We're seeing a lot of like smaller independent shows. I've seen, Demi was a part of that string one that I forgot the name now, but because I'm terrible with these names. But there's been a lot of great little independent shows this year that some of our like listeners and just friends have put on, which is really cool. There's venues like the Precinct, which probably opened this year. Obviously, the Station opened this year.
That's why my hair looks like this.
This is from the Precinct gig?
Precinct gig. Halloween gig.
Yeah, sick.
I was a clown.
Nice. Still haven't been to the Precinct.
It's a cool little venue, man.
I see so much about
it's
it.
intimate and small.
Yeah, I love that.
So shout out to the Lipsticks. We had a single launch last month through Yamanui Records. OJ booked us the Precinct show. We played with Spira, another cool, band to watch for sure. Very cool little band. But yeah, we had a Halloween party at the Precinct, and they dressed up the whole place with oh man, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, it made me want to film a music video there.
Yep.
Like, I would love to, just have like that haunted theme or any kind of theme, but like the cocktail menu was like, they had eyeballs in the cocktails and
sick. That's awesome.
it was sick. It was so fun.
Yeah.
But I think we squeezed in about 60, 70 people into that little place. And Perfect. It felt huge. It felt so full.
Yeah.
We did a fancy dress competition.
Yep.
A couple of Oompa Loompas won it.
Yep. Nice.
But they're doing cool things. Yeah,
they're doing wicked things. And just more of that, just more people doing these cool, fun things.
Yeah.
The studios are popping. You got your studio here now that I'm sure will be popping next year.
It'll be popping.
That all just builds towards that culture that we're all trying to be a part of, so we can stay here on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
And not have to leave and still pay the rent.
Yes.
Big hopes for next year for the Sunshine Coast music and music industry.
We're gonna kill it. We are gonna kill it.
Yeah, I reckon.
Even this year, projects I've been working on have been so promising. The artists are just insane. Yeah. The level of musicality that's coming through is just been
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. And different shit all the time. It's no two artists are the same. Yeah. Which is so good for our scene. It's popping. Yeah. It's really popping. And like you said, these smaller venues are going to be the ones that really keep the industry alive in terms of live music.
The incubators for
the incubators
when bands get bigger.
Yeah. And putting on your own shows, the whole DIY artist thing, home shows, house parties. Yeah. That that underground culture is really, like, I'm talking Australia-wide, or worldwide. That's what's going to lift our industry.
100%.
Underground culture will be the winning formula. Like, if you don't know what to do, if you don't know where to look for a gig, put on your own house party.
Yeah.
I know Nuff and Butter are just doing backyard little jams now.
Yep.
They invite their friends around every Sunday to do that.
Yep. Will Cliff's been doing a bunch of his ones. I think Brook Street had put out an announcement to, like, do another Australian tour, backyard or like lounge room shows.
There's been shows on at Thomas Surfboards, Chiggy's Skate Park, thrift stores around town. Just like think outside the box in that sense, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome.
Yeah. Or the station, you know, try and get into this guy's back pocket and.
Yeah, I mean, come and do a gig whenever. It's a wild venue to fill. Like, you know, it's great to have like opportunities like the Precinct to.
It's the best stage you'll play on.
Yeah.
Here for sure.
Yeah, you know, if you can get 70 people, that's awesome. Yeah. But you don't necessarily want to have 70 in a 1,700 capacity venue.
Yes,
can be tricky. Yeah. But I just hope, you know, a bunch of bands start getting big enough so that they can fill the place. And it's happened in the past. Look at the Dregs. You know, went from playing busking to filling up that place multiple nights. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're playing end of the year. Hometown Heroes. Yeah.
They'd probably sell out too.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. Shout out to the Dregs.
Yeah, legends. Although Paddy's gone to the Gold Coast.
He's moved to the Goldie. Yeah. We lost Paddy.
I know.
Oh,
we got a message from like a Gold Coast mate of mine. He's like, I saw Paddy this morning. I was like, yeah, okay.
Paddy, come home.
Come on back, mate.
Paddy, come home.
The sunny coast misses you.
He's probably shaved his mustache off again.
Yeah, he's like dyed his hair
Such
blonde.
a shame. Sick.
Awesome.
What else we got?
Well, that's probably all.
Any questions on the line?
Yeah, if there's any online, we can answer that before we wrap up episode 21 of Rainbows on Wax.
We appreciate all you guys hanging out with us each episode.
Yeah.
We're in the 1% club, and it's because of you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
These listeners out here.
Yeah.
You know, all of our super specific Sunshine Coast music industry advice.
Shoot us a message. Get in our DMs. Like, whatever you want to hear us talk about, let us know. If you want to be a guest, hit us up. We are both on Instagram.
Yep.
That's probably the easiest way to get in touch with us. If you want to make a record, talk to us about that. If you want to book a show, pick our brains.
Yep. There's probably other episodes where we talk a lot about that too, but we'll keep flogging a dead horse and keep...
Yeah, just... You got to, like...
Yeah.
You know, 1,000 no's and 1 yes is still a yes.
That's right. Yeah, keep persevering, keep making dope music with your friends.
Yeah.
Just appeal to your friends. Listen to Rick Rubin. That's where I get half my advice from anyway.
Yeah, go down the rabbit hole of music podcasts and creative mind chats and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You'll find your way.
Yeah.
Don't give up on yourself.
And tune in next time for another episode of Rainbows on Wax.
See you next year. My hair will probably be different again.
Rainbow.